everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. There is so much that is being experienced right now. It is an influx of energy, it's an influx of emotion. There's so much that is shifting. And it's almost, if you're a divine feminine that's very in tune to your journey, to your connection to yourself, to your counterpart, you might be experiencing this. It's to the point where I'm so distracted, almost to the point where it's very hard for me to get my work done, like my regular work done, because I just feel called to channel and to share what's being experienced here, because there is so much that is shifting. Now, this is all aligning energetically. This is all shifting energetically. How this plays out in the physical 3D, I'm not sure, because I tend to tune into the energy of things that then play out physically, but I'm not able to really see how they play out physically. You guys are the ones who provide that feedback and the energetic exchange, where you confirm for me, hey, I just spoke with my counterpart, or hey, we had this reunion, or hey, we had this conversation, which I appreciate so very much. But especially for myself and my own journey, I'm not sure how it plays out in the physical. I can only provide what it is that I'm receiving energetically, and then, how it resonates for everybody is going to maybe look a little bit different. But through your feedback and through your sharing, we have that validation, we have that confirmation, and we've seen that over the course of these many years that I've been doing this work collectively. It's been, oh goodness, ever since Friday, it really feels like it's been picking up. Friday, I shared that there was this, it was the winds of change energy that was coming through. There was a massive shift in energy, not just within the sacred partnership connection, but in the global energy as well. We might have experienced that as a bit of a physical purge in the days to come, or the days that followed. For some, it was an energetic purge. For some, it was a physical purge where you felt sick, where you felt tired, where you felt drained. You might have felt emotionally out of balance. I myself had my own experience, and I shared that in a personal share. I'll put all the links that are connected to this energy in the description box below, so that if you're new here, or if you want to catch up, or if you want to look back, all of that information, all of those readings and those channelings are there in the links of interest. And I always do that on my channel, where anything that's connected to this energy, anything we are called to revisit, is there. It is very windy and very rainy outside today here where I live. And I don't feel like that's a coincidence, because it's this storm-like energy that it feels like it's picking up. I'm getting... I'm getting Wizard of Oz reference. We're not in Kansas anymore. Everything is about to change. And it's like when the tornado took Dorothy to Oz, and everything felt so different. And even though she was like brought back home in a sense, it wasn't just a dream. I mean, felt like a dream, but it wasn't just a dream. She carried all of that with her. It feels like everything's coming full circle in a really powerful and transformative way. We've been channeling full circle moments since, I believe, either the spring or the summer, where there were like timelines that were collapsing, memories that were coming up to the surface, situations that felt very familiar from past events that were coming up for closure or clearing, or just reflection of how you have changed and grown along your journey. And that's what this feels like. That's what it feels like, full circle moments. It feels like this storm-like energy that's coming in and bringing everything full circle, but in a really transformative way. Who you were at the beginning of the journey is not who you are now. You are a deeper version of yourself, a deeper version of your soul. You have connected to yourself. You are a higher frequency. You're embodying a higher energy. In essence, I don't want to say the words better or worse, but in essence, you are a better version of yourself. Perhaps bolder, stronger, more courageous, more authentically you. Standing in your sovereignty, standing in your self-empowerment, having healthy boundaries. knowing how to communicate and connect, especially with yourself and especially with God. That's what this energy feels like. It feels like this storm-like energy that is coming through, but not to knock everything down like it had in the past. Kali Ma is coming through, and she has been part of that transformation. She's saying she was part of that storm, because part of that energy of Kali Ma is she creates the breakthrough. And sometimes that breakthrough is about destruction, a dismantling. You have to have an ending in order to create a new beginning. And Kali Ma is part of that energy. And we've been channeling her energy for the past year, where it was like you are moving into a higher frequency, into a higher energy, and your physical world sometimes has to change as a result of that. And if you're in resistance to that, then it might look like a lot of tower moments that create that change. She's coming in now, and she's saying, nope, I don't have anything to do with this. And she's smiling and she's laughing. I just adore Kali. Her goddess energy is so beautiful. Fierce, tough love sometimes, but beautiful, gorgeous energy. Very strong energy. She's like, this is not, I don't have anything to do with this. Very lovingly, very laughingly. This is the part of the Ascension where you are giving birth to new you and new reality and new everything. You're coming full circle into a higher version of everything now. And we have been going through that process throughout the past several months, throughout the past year, throughout the whole of this journey. If you want to take a wider lens look at this whole picture. So this storm energy is kind of whipping up, but it's almost like it's going to carry us into this new energy. There's a huge transformative energy that's coming through here. So we felt the shift a couple of days ago, and everybody's going to experience it in a little bit of a different way, in a little bit of a different timing. Take it as it resonates for you and when it resonates for you. But it's been bringing up perhaps some what I like to call that soul sludge, some of that debris that still needed to come up to the surface. And again, I shared my own personal experience with that. And part of that bringing it up to the surface is because there's this integration that's happening. There's this anchoring in that's happening at the same time. Again, you the analogy of you have a house, this beautiful foundation, which is you, which is your inner temple, and you're shifting into a higher frequency, but there's still some old beliefs or patterns or templates that has to be released, that has to be cleared, that has to be let go of. And you let go of it through many different ways. It's trauma healing, it's pattern shifting, it's new beliefs versus old beliefs or old mindsets. It's allowing yourself to see or view things from new perspectives where you might have been very closed off or restricted. It's this openness, it's this expansiveness. And that comes in a number of different ways. Maybe it's coming through meditation. Maybe it's coming through insights and downloads. Maybe it's coming through channelings and readings. Maybe it's coming through therapy, podcasts, courses, conversations with mentors, family, friends. But one thing that's happening is the old energy is clearing so that the new energy can anchor in. You can't bring in new furniture if the old is already there. There has to be this clearing energy, and that's what's been happening. I've been seeing 222 everywhere, almost like it's smacking me right in the face. It's been a long time since I've seen synchronicities. I see synchronicities at various points along my journey. It's been a long time since I've seen that synchronicity. Usually I see 144, which is a sign of my ascension journey for me, or I see the number 717 or 17 as a sign of my connection with my counterpart. 222 is another connection with my counterpart number. I wanted to distract myself from it. I wanted to ignore it. I kind of just said, oh, okay, it's a synchronicity, what about it? But then it just kept hitting me. Numbers, phone numbers popping up. License plates, like all the usual things, but then the non-usual, clocks, stuff like that, but then the non-usual things, to the point where I couldn't ignore it. Spirit's trying to get my attention. And so I finally accepted it, and I finally listened. And this morning, I've been experiencing a lot of energy, a lot of, could be some throat chakra stuff as well for some of you. I just felt that. But for myself, it's really the lower level chakras that have been balancing out, that I've really been feeling. I'm going to speak to the female divine feminines. So you might be having some womb activations. You might be having some menstrual stuff. I don't usually have a lot of difficult menstrual stuff, but it's difficult today for me. And that is a sign for me that there's a lot of womb activation that is happening, a lot of womb clearing that is happening. And I actually had this energy of like this birthing energy, this feeling like I was like giving birth to something. And it feels like we were birthing this new. And what that new is, I'm not entirely clear yet. It feels like a new version of us. It feels like a new version of our connection. It feels like a new version of ourselves. It feels like a new version of life. And I feel like we have been in this kind of gestation period over the past year. And again, you can even pull back and say it's been for the whole of our ascension journey that we've been going through this process. But it's here now. That major shift is here now. That regeneration shift is here now. And I'll get to this in a second. But it really feels like, energetically, I felt like I birthed something. There was something sacred I'm hearing that was birthed energetically into the world today. And that was all coming from the shift that we were experiencing a couple of days ago, the influx of energy that we were experiencing a couple of days ago. What I'm hearing them say is it all settled now. It's all settled. Like almost like the light codes were coming into the planet. All of this new energy was coming into the planet, and it needed to take some time to integrate and to settle now. And that's what's happening. And I felt it. It's like I felt the visceralness of it. And it feels very sacred. It feels very transformative. It feels like that Trinity energy. When we talk about the Trinity energy, they've been bringing that forth since the beginning of my channeling, almost 4 years ago now, where they showed me the Three of Pentacles as a triangle. God's source at the top, divine masculine, and the divine feminine, all connected as one. And then, as my understanding began to evolve and expand, they showed it to me as they showed it to me like this first. This is what we did way, way back when. Then they showed it to me, well, it's not quite like that. It's more like this. It's more like one on top of each other because you're more merged than that. You're one, they were trying to say. But then as I began to understand that more, they said, well, that's not even quite right because you see, there's still, if you stack them on top of each other, there's still the space of separation in between, and that's not quite right either. So then they showed me the Ace of Cups. No, the Three of Cups. And as you guys know, that is my union card and has been my union card because it's the two cups pouring into the third. It's the divine masculine in wholeness and loving energy of themselves, the divine feminine in wholeness and loving energy of themselves, offering that cup to each other, pouring into the third chalice. And that third chalice is made up of God's source energy. And when you pour into each other, when you pour into the third cup, it's not water and oil, which is separate. It's water and water, which becomes merged. It's the drops of water within the ocean. It's all one. You don't see where one begins and one ends. It's all becomes one. That's what this energy is. And what they're saying now is that's what you have been doing along your sacred union path of ascension. You have been coming into union with yourself. You have becoming whole within yourself, becoming one with yourself. Unity consciousness is not we're all automatons, we are all robots. We are all the same in that respect. Unity consciousness is understanding that we're all beautiful, unique threads, unique souls in the entire tapestry of creation. That tapestry is that oneness, created as aspects, all as aspects of God's source energy, as living consciousness. We are all living consciousness, aspects of that living consciousness. Connected consciousness is what they're saying now. We are all drops within that body of water. And you and your sacred partner are energetically one. That's what the soul merge is all about. You are energetically one. still having your own personalities, still having your individuality. That's what makes you human. And that's where you become the bridge between the spiritual and the human self. That's what your ascension journey is about. It is about not just ascending into this light and enlightenment. Enlightenment is about recognizing your humanity and becoming that physical bridge within your human incarnation, that physical bridge between the spiritual and the sacred human. And your union with your counterpart is recognizing how you are energetically one. The merging of the energy between you guys, the union of the energy between you, you and your counterpart. This morning I did a channeling it's on the YouTube community post. You can always check those out. And the community tab over on Instagram and over on Facebook, I cross-post it. It's a collective message. I post it as a reel with music and stuff so you can see the full spread on Instagram, but I always post it and cross-post it as a collective message as well on all of my platforms. And it was all about how we are connecting to the home within ourselves. And also, as we connect deeper to the home within ourselves, we're connecting to another. As I was pulling those cards, I saw this regeneration card, and it was so powerful and so energetically strong. And it has been with me all day to the point where I've been called to do this reading. This regeneration was giving me divine masculine energy, where I really feel that masculine energy rising, the conscious, sacred divine masculine. This feels powerful, but not egotistical power trip, powerful. Not the template of the past, the paradigm of old. This is the Christ consciousness, divine masculine. This is recognizing their sovereignty, recognizing their inner authority, recognizing their authenticity, and recognizing their heart, their self-love, and their connection to their counterpart. This feels like death and rebirth for the divine masculine. And just as you've gone through your death and rebirth process many, many times, divine feminines, because ascension is the process of death and rebirth of self. As you ascend in consciousness, you go through many iterations of this. It's an inner spiral. Awakening and ascension happens in layers. That's what evolution and expansion of the soul is all about. Divine masculine has, as of late, been going through a massive self-rebirth process. And that's what this feels like. This feels like they are regenerating. I'm seeing an image of a phoenix where they were ash, but there was always that little spark of ember within them. And from that ember, they united within themselves, reignited that flame within themselves. And now they are growing as that metaphorical phoenix. But they had to go through this journey themselves. They had to go through this process themselves. And that's why a lot of them withdrew, went into hermit mode, created some kind of separation. Because they had to heal the separation within themselves. And look, the candle just blew out, but look, it's still ignited. That's exactly what we're talking here. They had to understand that they didn't have to seek externally for anything. That through all of this darkness, they had to discover their sacred self for themselves. Rather than the codependency, rather than leaning on other people to light the way for them. It was challenging, which is an understatement I'm hearing. It took all of their strength and all of their courage, but they're blossoming and blooming from that. And as they're going through this rebirth process, as they are rising in love with themselves, in the energy and consciousness of love within themselves, true love, divine love, not what they thought love was, or not what they were conditioned love to be, but a true understanding in the connectedness of love, which they might have had some kind of awareness before, but to really feel that and anchor it in and integrate that within themselves. That was a different layer. That was another level. That was where they had to go. That's where they had to journey to connect to themselves. And as they're regenerating within themselves and rising within themselves, this whole union is regenerating. This union, this connection is regenerating. This feels very much like union energy to me. Before I realized I was going to do a reading, I wanted to pull some cards to see what was going on. We have Message in a Bottle for the Divine Masculine. We have Go the Distance for the Divine Feminine. This Go the Distance also came out in that reading, so make sure that you check it out. I'll try to see if I can link it below. But that came through as well. And what I'm getting from this for the Divine Feminines is your union is here. It has always been here. Union is not a destination. It is a place within oneself. It is a recognition and a connection within oneself. Union is the understanding, the integration, that separation is the illusion. That's where you are always in union. And so you have this checkered flag here, and it's like, you're here. You are here. And like we had channeled many months ago, you might not, and even just a couple of days ago, you might not know how this is going to play out in your physical world. Again, I just channel the energy. I have no idea how it's going to play out. Even my own ego is like, how the hell is this going to happen? Who is it going to happen with? When is it going to happen? What's going to happen? Why is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? I know my own ego is like trying to attach to all these scenarios to kind of prepare myself. But my soul is saying, Susan, it's okay. Just trust. Just have faith. And my soul is at peace in that trust, in that faith. Because my soul is at peace in that trust and faith in God. It's here. It is here. And what I'm getting is you've changed. You have changed. It's this energy of you have called back all those fragmented pieces. You have let go of all those energies that you don't need anymore to become a different version of you, a more whole, a more authentic version of you. This is the soul version of you, shedding all those layers that you don't need, all those layers that you thought you were attached to. Shedding all of that and calling back the truth of who you are. That is what has led to this finish line. Ascension is not a destination. It is a journey. It is a process. There is no finish line. But we've been channeling the journey's end. We've been channeling an ending of one phase of your journey and the beginning of another. And that in and of itself has been a year-long process, truly, that we've been channeling. That's what we're giving birth to. The next phase. And we've been channeling that again, gestation. We've been in that gestation period for almost a year now of birthing the new. And we've seen evidence of this. We've seen snippets of this. We've seen excerpts of this in opportunities coming in how we ourselves show up in the world in new ways, in different versions of ourselves. We've seen this in how we are receiving maybe new connections, sacred family coming in, soul family coming in, opportunities coming in, more abundance, more stability, more security, more whatever. You've been seeing this rebirth within yourself and in your physical world. But this is like the push, the final push. This is opening you up in new ways, especially, and I can't deny this, especially when it comes to your sacred connection. Especially when it comes to your sacred connection. When I say I can't deny this, is because my ego is like trying to protect me, wants to say, it wants to pull back and mistrust this. Wants to pull back and say, well, that's not possible, that's not happening. All I can do is just trust what I channel, trust what I receive, be that messenger, and allow myself to surrender. The ego wants to protect because the ego doesn't want to be pulled back into past cycles and past pain. So it tries to protect. But the ego, in its protection, fails to take into account the sacredness of the soul, fails to trust in the soul, and that the soul truly does know the way. The ego is operating under past trauma and past circumstances and past patterns. The soul is present. And that's where you surrender. That's where you allow the unfolding. That's where you allow yourself to be excited about trusting in the universe and trusting what's to come because you trust yourself and you're connected to yourself. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like communication is coming in. I feel like there are connections with counterparts that are being regenerated. For some, and take it as it resonates for you, trust what you receive. Trust your inner knowing. Not something that you're receiving externally. Trust in your inner knowing as you are listening to these readings. For some, this is going to be the person that you know as your counterpart in your heart of hearts, in that soul. It's going to be your person who has been going through this transformation, who's going to be communicating with you. It's going to be that same person. For others, it's going to be somebody different who is embodying that energy of conscious, sacred masculine. We've been channeling that for a couple of months. There's a little bit of a split within the collective right now, so do take it as it resonates for you. But there is communication, there is connection coming in. So for some, it could be the person that you've known as your counterpart coming in with new communication. For others, it could be a new meeting, a new communication, a new connection. But again, it's going to feel good because it embodies that higher frequency. It embodies everything you loved about that first person, but in that higher frequency to match where you are. Your union is here. It always has been here. So again, take it as it resonates for you, but can't deny that there is something that is regenerating, something that is shifting, something that is changing, and there's going to be some kind of communication and expression. I feel like Divine Masculine over here has been, just as you've been focused on yourself and your growth and your expansion, Divine Feminine, I feel like Divine Masculine has been focused on healing within themselves. They might have even been healing communication, where they were blocked in communicating. Maybe they didn't know how to communicate or effectively communicate or know how to healthily communicate. There's some kind of new perspective around communication, especially with communication with you. Maybe they're seeing the conversations that they've had with you in a new light. Maybe they're seeing you in a new light. There's some kind of, I'm getting just major brow and crown chakra right now energy. They're seeing this differently. I want to get a couple of more cards here and see what's going on. Exchanging gifts. They might have something to offer you as far as a physical gift. But this feels like an expression of self. We were getting the Knight of Cups recently, and that feels very sincere. It feels very stable. It feels very emotional. So this could be something that really means a lot to you. Maybe it's something that has to do like a card or like a piece of music or some kind of gift or token of affection that is like an inside joke or gift between you two. Maybe it's something to do with the holidays coming up. I'm not quite sure what this is, but it does feel like there's something of an offer of expression, an offer of affection. And what I'm hearing is to show you their sincerity, to show you this transformation. And I do feel like it's going to be a little bit of a surprise for you. It might give you a little bit of a tower moment where you might really be unexpecting. This might be unexpected. You might not be expecting this, if I can get my words together. Yeah, the bottom of the deck, your person is really feeling this connection and really wanting, they might even, okay, it's getting me really choked up because it's so freaking beautiful. Okay, this is metaphorical, but you know how penguins, they mate for life, they have that union with each other, and it's like the male offers the female the pebble, right? God, I can't even, I'm getting so choked up with this analogy, with this metaphor. I can't even bring it out right. But there's that I don't know if it's a story or a saying or if this is actually true with penguins, but I know that they mate for life. And you see that he's holding the key and she has her heart with the lock, and it's like, you are the perfect fit for each other. You are the perfect key and lock for each other, and you unlock this love within each other. And I feel like the Mashin is really understanding this. But going back to the penguins, it's like, they not only do they mate for life, not only are they committed to each other, devoted to each other, in loving union with each other, honoring each other, but it's that token of affection. There's this story or theory or something about a pebble, and I feel like it's the male penguin that will search the beach for the perfect pebble to give to his partner. That's what this feels like. It feels like a gift to show you their dedication, their love, their commitment, their honoring of you, to show you their self-expression. Now, it doesn't have to be a pebble, obviously. That's just an analogy of what this means. It's like the perfect something. It is the perfect gift or offering or word or something that really shows you the depth and sincerity of this change. Gosh. Divine Feminines. Divine Feminines, I feel like you are in this place where you're just like really self-focused, to the point where you might even feel a little bit guarded. I'm just seeing like almost like a Four of Pentacles hold, like arms crossed kind of thing, but almost in like a self-protective energy. Like you're protective, your energy, you're protecting your heart. It feels like you feel very alone in your boat there. You feel very, maybe even lonely. Again, you're right there. You're right there, but you might be saying, I don't get it. How is this ever going to happen? Where am I being guided? But you see the face in the clouds there? Like, that's the universe, that's God. Like, all you have to do is trust. And they're showing me the Six of Swords is all you have to do is trust. All you have to do, have that deep knowing, have that deep sense of faith and trust. You are being guided in the direction that you're meant to go in. Just one card, please. One more for the Divine Feminine. No place like home. I'm going to try to link that channeling because that's what this feels like. What I had channeled was, it's not only home within yourself, but home with another. Where is your home? What feels like home to you? Trust in that. Trust in yourself. Trust where you're being led, because you're always being led back home to yourself. And back home to each other. But I'm getting this feeling like your back is kind of to this masculine. And rightly so is what I'm hearing. Rightly so, because your person, I feel like, is gathering so many pieces of themselves and so many pieces of this connection. And you're not meant to be looking at them. You're not meant to be watching them. They're gathering all the pieces that they need. What I'm seeing is so that they can tap you on the shoulder and you can turn around, and it might not feel good to the ego. It might feel really unexpected and jarring to the ego. But what you'll feel is that same feeling when you turned around that day, when you saw them that day, when you saw home in each other, when you first met. Trust in what you are feeling within yourself. Trust in the love. Trust your intuition. Let the intuition guide you. Trust your inner knowing. Trust in the energy. All right, I was going to pull some tarot, but I think this is going to be it. I think this is going to be the reading here. I'm not quite sure what else is happening, but my goodness, this is something. We'll be back with some mini readings to kind of tune in, bring this down a level, see what's really happening. But stay tuned for that. All right, guys, I'm sending you all so much love and light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.